He wasn't always distant. At first, he was attentive, curious, warm. Then suddenly something changed. One day he feels close. The next day he feels unreachable. And you're left asking yourself the same question over and over again. What did I do wrong? This is called hot and cold behavior. And if you're watching this, chances are you felt it in your chest before. That confusing mix of hope and anxiety. That moment where you replay every conversation, every message, every silence. Hot and cold behavior is not love. It's inconsistency. And inconsistency creates emotional attachment faster than stability ever could. When someone is warm, affectionate, present, and then suddenly distant, busy, vague, or emotionally unavailable, your brain doesn't relax. It searches. It waits. It tries to solve the puzzle. Here's the psychology part, but keep it simple. Unpredictable rewards create stronger emotional bonds than predictable ones. That's why slot machines are addictive. And that's why hot and cold behavior keeps you hooked. You're not attached to the person. You're attached to the version of them you get. Sometimes. And this is where many women blame themselves. They think, if I say the right thing, if I'm more understanding, if I give him space, if I don't ask for too much. But listen carefully. A man who genuinely wants you does not confuse you. He does not leave you guessing. He does not make you feel calm one day and insecure the next. Hot and cold behavior is often a sign of emotional unavailability, not confusion, not busyness, not fear of losing you. It's a pattern, and patterns tell the truth louder than words ever will. Sometimes it comes from someone who enjoys attention but fears intimacy. Sometimes it comes from someone who wants connection without responsibility. And sometimes it comes from someone who simply likes the power of being wanted. And here's the hard truth. The more you chase clarity from someone inconsistent, the more power you give away. Because hot and cold behavior feeds on reaction. Your messages, your patience, your emotional flexibility. The moment you start adjusting yourself to keep someone warm, you stop being centered in yourself. And on Pure Her, we don't teach women to shrink for affection. We teach women to recognize patterns, protect their emotional energy, and choose themselves. If this feels familiar, stay with me. Because in the next part, we'll talk about why this behavior feels so intense, and why strong women fall for it too. Before we continue, take a second. Like this video. Subscribe to Pure Her. Because clarity is power, and you deserve both. One of the biggest myths about hot and cold behavior is that only insecure women fall for it. That's not true. In fact, emotionally intelligent and empathetic women are often more affected by it. Why? Because you try to understand instead of walking away. You see potential. You sense depth. You remember how he was in the beginning. And your mind keeps returning to that version of him. The attentive one. The interested one. The one who made you feel chosen. Hot and cold behavior creates emotional contrast. And contrast intensifies feelings. When he pulls away, your body reacts. Your nervous system activates. You feel uneasy, alert, focused. Then when he comes back with warmth, affection, or attention, your body relaxes. Relief feels like connection. But it's not the same thing. This emotional up and down creates a cycle. Distance creates anxiety. Warmth creates relief. Relief feels like closeness. And slowly, you associate him with emotional regulation. Your mood starts depending on his behavior. That's when attachment deepens. Not because the connection is healthy, but because it's unpredictable. Here's something most people won't tell you. Consistency is what creates safety. But inconsistency is what creates obsession. A consistent man doesn't trigger your nervous system. An inconsistent man does. And your body mistakes intensity for chemistry. That's why hot and cold feels magnetic. That's why it's hard to let go. And that's why closure feels impossible. But listen carefully. If someone wanted to be consistent with you, they would be. If someone wanted to show up, they wouldn't disappear emotionally. You don't need to earn basic emotional presence. You don't need to decode silence. You don't need to prove your worth through patience. On Pure Her, we remind women of one important truth. Your value is not measured by how much uncertainty you can tolerate. If you constantly feel anxious, confused, or emotionally off balance around someone, your body is giving you information. Not fear. Information. And learning to trust that information is a form of self-respect. In the next part, we'll talk about what not to do when faced with hot and cold behavior. Because reacting emotionally is exactly what keeps the cycle alive. Before moving on, if this resonates with you, show your support. Like the video. Subscribe to Pure Her. And let's keep raising the emotional standard together. When someone treats you hot and cold, your first instinct is usually to react. You want answers. You want reassurance. You want consistency back. So you text more. You explain yourself. You give space while silently waiting. You lower expectations. You become more understanding than you should be. And none of it works. Because hot and cold behavior is not caused by misunderstanding. It's maintained by access. As long as someone can disappear emotionally and still return to your attention, the pattern continues. Here's what reacting emotionally does. It teaches them that inconsistency is acceptable, that distance has no consequences, that they can come and go without losing you. And slowly, you move into a position of emotional availability without emotional security. What actually shifts the dynamic is not confrontation. It's self-regulation and boundaries. Boundaries don't mean ultimatums. They mean alignment. It means you stop over-explaining. You stop chasing clarity. You stop adjusting your standards to keep someone comfortable. You observe behavior. You respond, not react. And most importantly, you stay rooted in yourself. A woman who is emotionally grounded does not beg for consistency. She notices who can meet her there naturally. Hot and cold behavior loses power when it stops affecting your sense of self. When your life feels full. When your energy is not waiting. When your self-worth is not up for negotiation. This doesn't mean becoming cold yourself. It means becoming clear. Clear about what you accept. Clear about how you want to feel. Clear about the emotional environment you allow into your life. On Pure Her, we don't encourage emotional games. We encourage emotional maturity. If someone is unsure about you, let them be unsure. Your job is not to convince. Your job is to choose what feels steady, calm, and respectful. In the final part, we'll talk about what healthy connection actually feels like, and how to stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. If this message is helping you see things differently, take a moment. Like this video. Subscribe to Pure Her. Because emotional clarity changes everything. Healthy connection does not feel like anxiety. It does not feel like waiting. And it does not feel like emotional confusion. Healthy connection feels steady. It feels calm. It feels mutual. You don't question where you stand. You don't analyze tone. You don't wonder if asking for consistency is too much. Consistency is not boring. It's safe. And safety is what allows attraction to deepen naturally. When you step out of hot and cold dynamics, something shifts. Your nervous system settles. Your self-trust strengthens. And your standards become clearer. You stop chasing emotional highs. You start choosing emotional alignment. And here's the most empowering part. When you no longer tolerate inconsistency, inconsistent people remove themselves. Not because you push them away, but because they can't meet you where you stand. This is not about becoming distant. It's about becoming unavailable to confusion, unavailable to emotional crumbs, unavailable to mixed signals, unavailable to anything that makes you doubt your worth. On Pure Her, we believe women don't need more patience. They need more clarity. You deserve connection that feels stable, warm, and intentional. Not something that keeps you guessing. Not something that costs you your peace. If this video gave you insight, awareness, or even a moment of relief, don't let it end here. Like the video, subscribe to Pure Her, and stay with us. Because when you stop accepting hot and cold behavior, you don't lose love. You make space for something real.